Guys, I wanted to do a series of videos and put them on this channel, I believe, instead of doing it on my Karrie's Vlogs and Hauls channel. One reason is because I have more subscribers on this channel and I could reach a larger audience. That's the one reason. But I also am contemplating going down, and I still haven't made up my mind, but just going down to one channel. I don't know yet. It may be a few months before I completely make up my mind, and I may decide just to keep two channels. Still on the fence about it, but regardless, I'm putting this series of videos on this channel. And what I wanted to talk about was traveling and how I go about planning a trip. Recently, the travel bug is really biting me, and it happens every 6 months or so. If you're a travel lover, you will understand that. But over the past couple years, let me see, the last big trip that I've taken was, well, I mean, I went on a cruise last year. I don't know why that one slipped my mind. So I did go on a New England Canadian cruise, October 2014. So that was a big trip. And then prior to that, my biggest trip would have been in 2012. So I didn't really do anything major in 2013. I believe I went to Florida, and if you're living in the southern part of the United States, Florida is not really a major trip for those of us who live in the southern part. Now, it is a big trip, don't get me wrong, but it's just kind of like you can drive there and back. Well, not and back, but you can drive there in one day, or if you want to take your time, you know, go halfway one day, spend the night, do something in Georgia or Alabama, and then continue on. But regardless, I thought I would talk about what I am planning on doing and tell you my steps. So every so often I'm going to come and do a new video, and I'm thinking about writing a corresponding blog post about it as well, about how I go about picking a trip, setting or deciding where I'm going to go, setting a budget for it, and what I need to do as it's leading up to travel day. And so this first video, I wanted to talk about deciding on where you want to go, and hopefully this will help give you some ideas. I think, though, where you want to go is so personal that this may not help you decide where you want to go, whereas the other videos in the series would be more helpful. But I'm just going to tell you where I'm thinking about going in 2016, a year from now. Roughly, it's the first part of May, so I'm looking at May, June, July, sometime of next year. And I'm thinking very strongly about going back to Italy. And if anybody's been watching me for a while, I think I've mentioned it a few times. I've already been to Italy 3 times, and I absolutely love it. And a lot of people will say, well, why do you want to go back there? Why don't you go somewhere else? And that is so true. I do want to go to other places, but each time when I think about planning a really big trip, I'm always drawn back to Italy. And I just can't really explain it. I love it so, so much. And I just laugh now that I know I'm 4% Italian, so, which is funny to say that, but because it's not a whole lot. But maybe that has something to do with it. Kind of doubt it. But that is my plan right now. And I've asked a friend of mine if she wanted to take the trip with me, and she's thinking about it. She's thinking seriously about it. She's just recently bought a house right now, so the finances are not right there where she needs them because of the house. So I don't know if she'll be able to go or not, but I'm still planning on going. My second trip that I made to Italy, I did go by myself. So I'm going to talk more about that later, traveling by yourself, especially as a female, and tell you my thoughts on it. That'll be in another video. But the first thing that I think you need to do when you're planning a trip is decide, where do you want to go? Do you want to travel? If you're in the United States, do you want to travel in your own state? Do you want to travel to another state? Do you want to travel outside of the country? Do you want to get there by air? Do you want to drive? Well, you're not going to drive to another country except for Canada or Mexico, but you know what I mean. Do you want to fly? How do you want to get there? Do you want to sail there on a, well, go on a cruise ship, something like that. So think about all these things. Where do you want to go? That is your number one thing to plan or decide is your destination. Think about that. And then think about the time of the year that you want to go and do your research. For example, if you want to go to, I know Italy and I believe France as well, and there's probably some more countries in Europe August is the worst month to go to those places, and the reason why, they pretty much shut down a lot of those cities will just almost shut down, because that's the month that people in Italy and I think France, correct me if I'm wrong about France, they take their vacations. So a lot of the bigger places will still be open. Like if you went to Rome, of course, the Vatican would be open, the Colosseum, things like that. You would be able to get to see those. But if you go to some smaller places, a lot of those mom and pop type shops or other eating places will be closed, because that is when they take their vacations, is during the month of August. And then you also got to think, if you want to go, say, to Rome, you may not want to go during whenever Easter happens, whether it be March or April, because a lot of Catholic people descend upon Rome because of the Easter holiday. So keep that in mind. My friend that I've asked to go with me, she is Catholic, and I said, we're not going there during that month. And she says, hey, I'm Catholic, and I wouldn't even attempt to go to Rome during the time of Easter. So it's just going to be overrun with lots and lots of people. Now, if that was something that is on your bucket list and you've always wanted to go, is to Rome during Easter, by all means do it. But just keep in mind, it is going to be massively crowded. Also, I've been there, every time I've been is either May or June. I have been told that it gets extremely hot the further you get past June, or into June, August, July, and August. It gets extremely hot, so just be aware of that. Just throwing that out there. So think about your destination. Where do you want to go is the #1 thing to think about. And then if you've got several destinations in mind, write them down, and then just start doing your research, and then start thinking about it. What pulls you the most to that location? Whether it be to Disney World, whether it be to the beach, whether it be to see some mountains somewhere, things of that. What most interests you? And if you are not like me and you want to see something new every time, obviously you're going to pick a new destination. I kind of get stuck in a rut, obviously, and I like to go back to the same places. I love going to Disney World, and I love going to Italy. And that's not to say that I don't like seeing other places. I've been to the Caribbean 5 times, so I love doing that as well. I think 5 times. Don't quote me, I haven't added it up in my mind. But I also wanted to tell you that I have been to, I want to say, again, I should have added this up before starting doing this video, but I believe I have been to 14 different countries. 2 of the countries just inside the airport, Germany and Belgium. I've only been in the airport, so I realize some people would not count that as being in those countries, but my passport got stamped, so it says I've been there. And then I've been to 2 U.S. territories outside of the continental United States. I've been to St. Thomas, and I've been to Puerto Rico. So 2 U.S. territories that are not a state. And then most of the countries that I've been in are the Caribbean. I've been to, well, Mexico 3 times. I've been to the Bahamas. I've been to Belize, Jamaica. I'm trying to think. Jamaica, Grand Cayman. I've been to St. Martin, both sides of the island. One side is owned by Dutch, the other side is by France, or it's French and Dutch sides. And it's funny because they're spelled differently. I've been to Antigua, Tortola. I'm probably leaving something out. I can't remember right now. Probably leaving something out. Then in Europe, I've been to Italy, Spain. The Vatican is a country. It's considered the smallest country in the world. I've been to, let's see, Spain, Italy, the Vatican, airport in Germany, airport in Belgium, and I've been to Canada. So I don't know if that adds up to 14 or not. I think I may have left some of the Caribbean out. But anyway, those are all the places that I've been. I've done lots of cruises. I've done 7 cruises, I think. 5. Why didn't I add all this stuff up before I started this video? Oh my goodness. Maybe it was 4 Caribbean cruises, Hawaii, Canada, and a Mediterranean one. Anywho, maybe it was 4 Caribbean. Yeah, anyway, I am sorry. I am just rambling like crazy right now. I should have written my notes down before I started this. But regardless, really think about where you want to go. Then start thinking about, do you want a land trip? Do you want to take a cruise? Things like that. Get all of that in mind. And then in the next video that I'm going to do, I'm going to start talking about, once you've made your decision, doing a budget type thing. And also, because right now I'm thinking about Italy. Let me just tell you what I'm thinking about for the next video. Obviously I'm thinking about Italy. Well, right now what I'm debating on is taking a kind of a land trip, either using Globus or Rick Steves, one of those type tour groups. Or, that's one option, is a tour group using where you'll travel by bus from city to city to city. Or taking another cruise. Or going to Rome, just flying into Rome, getting a hotel room, obviously I'd get it in advance, and then taking tours out from Rome, because I really know where I want to go, specifically in Italy. I love Florence. Florence is probably my favorite city type place in Italy, and the reason why I'm not really planning on going there first is because I'm a bit of a chicken, and it's not the easiest place to get to. You really can't just fly from the United States into Florence. You would have to, from what I understand, you could fly into Pisa, which is not that far from Florence, but then you would either have to get a taxi, but it's far enough that that taxi would be outrageously expensive. You could rent a car, which I'm not about to rent a car in Italy, just that's not me. Or you could take the train. And the thing about the train is, I've never done trains. I'm not in Italy or anywhere in Europe. I'm not afraid of doing that, but they go on strike a lot. So my fear is that I would fly out there to Pisa, then they go on strike, and then I'm like, how do I get to Florence from here? So that's what worries me a little bit. And also, when you do take the train, you have to take, it's not like you check your luggage like you do on an airline, and I've got this information from other people. You carry your luggage on with you onto the train, and you have to move quickly. And I'm an overpacker. That's something I need to be working on. But that makes me a little bit nervous, is, you know, having at least a handbag, a carry-on bag, and then my suitcase, trying to get all that onto the train and off the train without, you know, with being by myself. So, but that's an option. So anyway, you would fly into Pisa, then make your way to Florence. So that makes me nervous a little bit, but I have looked up some things that there are tour groups that if you're based in Rome, they will take you to Florence by train. There will be a guide there with you and will get you on and off the train, and your luggage is staying in Rome at your hotel room, so you'll just take a day trip to Florence, do all the stuff in Florence, and then you're going to come back to Rome. And then my most favorite place, so Florence is my most favorite city in Italy, but my most favorite place in Italy is Capri, or Capri as Americans would say it. C-A-P-R-I, like Capri's. But it's Capri over there. I absolutely love it. It's one of the most beautiful places in the world, in my opinion. And you can easily get there from Rome. It's not that far. And you can, you know, take a day trip with a tour over there. And I've already started pricing some things to do that. So those are the things I'm looking at doing, is taking a land trip, going with Globus, or a cruise, either through Norwegian or Carnival, one of those two cruise lines. And then, or just flying into Rome and picking up tours throughout there. So that's what I'm thinking about doing. What I'm going to do in the next video is do a budget for all three of those things and see what the costs are going to be. One thing I am finding out, I do not know how much the airline will cost this far out. It's not, apparently they're not booking this far out a year in advance. So I don't know how much the airline would be, but the other things I can figure out the prices. So the next video, I'm not sure when I'm going to do it, but it will be talking about the budget and how to plan and how to start saving for and what you should do. So thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Bye, everybody.